Alrighty, good morning family and welcome back to another productive vlog. So today is Monday. We're up bright and early wearing our bright blue. Hair is super big because it's day one hair, so it'll go down a little bit later throughout the day, but we are getting ready to go to our doctor's appointment to get our physical. I have lots of questions, and then she'll refer me to all the different specialists that I want to see, including like a dietitian. I want to get my blood drawn and all those things. So I will check in with you guys when I either am at the office or afterwards, just to tell you guys how I like my experience and everything like that. And I need to shoot a thumbnail for a video that's going up today, so I may have to come back home. But my goal was to like stop at a coffee shop since I'm already kind of dressed for the day. So we'll see where that takes us, but I will check in with you guys soon. Bye. Alrighty, so I just got back from my doctor's appointment and it went so well, y'all. I was literally scared for nothing. Like, I hadn't booked a doctor's appointment in so long just because, like, I don't know, the doctors kind of get a bad rep and sometimes the environment can be a little uncomfortable. But when I tell you this place was so nice, it was like a small, intimate facility, and my doctor is a Black woman, which is super, super cool. There was like no wait time. I'd already filled out all of my paperwork online, and then when I went in there, they took all of like my vitals, answered most of the questions that I had, pretty much all the questions I had actually. And then my doctor came in, and what's really cool is that they were actually able to take my blood right there on the spot, where usually you have to go to like LabCorp or Quest or whatever to get that done. So that saved me a lot of time. But yeah, she was so chill. Like, we were just having conversation. She was asking about what I do, just giving me a lot of like just health advice that was actually like natural, which I really like, because I don't want to be on medication or anything like that. I mean, I don't think anything in my health presents medication needs, but I just like that she wasn't always like jumping to trying to like diagnose or like, you know, like a lot of the stuff that I was dealing with were things that could require like lifestyle change. So she was super, super cool, very nice, got me in and out, and I think my appointment was like an hour. So it just feels good to get that checked off my list, because that's something I've been wanting to get done for a while. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm waiting for the results from my blood test. Then when those come in, next I'm taking a food sensitivity test to see what kind of foods cause more like bloating or things that make me a little bit more sensitive than usual, because I'm, like I said, my health has improved a lot, but I just want to make sure that I am just fueling my body with the things that it needs to thrive. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm so grateful for all the people that God like sends in my life and connects me to that help me to just become the best version of myself. I really want to steward my body better this year. So I'm doing all that it takes and using all the investments, you know, that God has sent me. So with that being said, I'm getting ready to upload a thumbnail for a new video I have coming out on work from home productivity, because I've been working from home for the past like 5 years and I have learned so much. It was really hard in the beginning to focus, but now like I've got my systems and my routines and my hacks that I know work. And even my mom works from home and she's been applying a lot of the different things that I've been sharing, and she's seen such an improvement. And working from home can be like, you know, difficult for some people because, you know, everybody's used to being around certain people to hold them accountable and stuff like that. So there are a little bit more challenges that are presented when you're working from home. So if that's something that you're doing, these hacks will be super, super helpful for you. But yeah, I'm going to go do this thumbnail and I'll check in with you guys later. Bye. Here's my little incision. I really need a tan. You can even see like the green in my veins. So she had no problem like finding my veins, which is nice because I did not want to be stabbed over and over again. So alrighty, happy Tuesday, family. I just finished going live about how to revive your prayer life. So I'm super excited about that. It's something that has been extremely impactful for me. I shared the top 4 reasons why your prayer life feels dull and 3 things that you can do to revive your prayer life. You guys know I'm like super practical. So anything that I share is more than likely what I do and have seen results with. So I'm excited about that. That's pretty much the majority of my day. You guys know that Tuesday is content day. So if I'm not recording a video like a pre-recorded video, it doesn't take as much time, so because I don't have to edit it, it just goes up in live. And I like these sometimes I like the pre-recorded videos because it allows me to get a little bit ahead, and sometimes I like the live because I get to interact with you guys in real time and answer questions. I love answering questions, so that was nice. Right now, looking at my planner, I've pretty much done everything. I didn't do my morning walk this morning, so it's gonna have to be an afternoon walk. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do afternoon walk. I did pray for 30 minutes, but I didn't do the actual walk this morning. So I'm gonna do that probably after I eat lunch. And then the last thing I have to do today is write and schedule a newsletter. So I send out the Doers newsletter every single week on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is a great newsletter for those of you who want to be doers of the word and not just hearers. So I always send out, whatever God is speaking to me at that time. It's a reminder of the latest video. And then I always try to include scriptures that have been impactful, either books or things that I'm reading or listening to that are really edifying me and helping me to be more consistent. And then some type of like time management thing that you can apply to see those different changes in your life. So that is a newsletter I send out weekly. You can click the link in the description box if you want to be a part of that newsletter. That's also like if I'm dropping any new events or services or challenges and stuff like that, it'll all be included in there. So I'll show you guys a little bit of like B-roll of what that looks like behind the scenes. But I'm gonna rest for pretty much the rest of the day. Content takes a lot. The type of content that I do, especially when I'm doing faith-based things, like I'm seeking the Lord for what he wants to say in real time. And so pouring it out, talking for an hour can be mentally taxing. So I like to just take Tuesdays to rest and refresh. But yeah, I am going to probably pick up a little bit later, maybe around like 6 or 7, and work on a project that I've been doing for a while because I want that done by the end of January. But I'm going to go eat. I made kava bowls this week, and I need to go to Kava to get the green sauce. I don't know what it is, but I bought the harissa sauce from Wegmans and it's really good. But I always mix the green herb sauce with the harissa sauce, and it's like a fire combo. So I feel like I don't know how to make that on my own. They don't sell it at Wegmans, so I might just go drive by there and get that, get some air. If not, y'all, I'm probably just gonna eat it as is. But yeah, I'll check in with you guys a little bit later. Alrighty, good morning, friends. It is now Friday. I'm a little bit behind schedule, but that is okay. It is by the grace of God that I made it through this week, because this was a really busy week for me, and then I came on my period, so like there was a lot of the fatigue, distractions, poor concentration. You guys know that I track all of my symptoms inside of the Fitter Woman app, and so even though I was mindful, I really had to be intentional about practicing one of the disciplines that I was sharing with you guys in one of my videos about like being silent and speaking the opposite when you don't feel like doing something. There's something in my eye. Hold on. Okay, I think I got it. But yeah, I really had to be intentional about speaking the opposite and saying that like I'm awake and full of energy, and not just saying that, but declaring that the strength of the Lord is made great in my weakness, because usually during like my period weeks, I try not to schedule a lot of things that require a lot of my brain activity. But this week I just couldn't help it. This is a very busy and fruitful month. And so the Lord carried me through this week, even today, like just praying over my day before it started and just saying that like I'm going to have a lot of energy. I'm going to be able to focus. I'm going to get everything that I need done. You know, you're with me in my efforts. You're going to bless my efforts. So saying things like that and really just making sure that I am filling myself up with the Word of God in his presence is so crucial for those weeks where it's just like, God, I have too many demands and not enough capacity, but you can make up the difference. So please help me. So that's what I did this week. I got pretty much everything that I needed done. Like, this is the second week in a row where my productivity has been like through the roof. And I can really feel like I attribute it to like the time with God. There are seasons, I always want to be in the presence of God, but when there are seasons where I know I have a lot going on, I'm really intentional about making sure that I am personally filling myself up in the Lord's presence, because I do a lot of pouring out and like showing up on prayer calls and Bible studies and teaching for others, but I make sure that I have time for myself, okay? You need time for yourself outside of sermons, outside of church. You need time like in the personal presence of the Lord so that he can strengthen you and you can receive, whatever the Lord has to give, and also just dwell with him. Like, I've just been so thankful for the friendship of the Lord lately. He is just so faithful, so consistent, always available, just so kind, attentive, just full of wisdom. And the more I spend time with him, the more I want to continue to just get rid of everything else. It just doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't matter. I just want to spend more time in the presence of God, and I'm fighting against these stupid distractions that I know that the Lord will help me to overcome. But anyway, today is our planning and running errands day. It was supposed to be on Thursday, but I had to push it back because of a video I had to get edited, and it was just a lot of stuff going on. So today we're going to do our weekly planning. I already have my grocery list mapped out. We're having like baked chicken thighs with sweet potatoes and green beans. And then we're going to do like pizza flatbreads, which are like a good lunch meal that doesn't take a lot of time to make. And then I'm going to do turkey burgers, gravy, and rice with like another veggie. So that's what we're going to be eating this week. I'm about to go to the grocery store and get that. And then when I come back, I'm looking at these 2 ginormous bags of laundry that are already done. I just need to fold them. And I know my secret for folding laundry is just putting on like a vlog or like some type of TV show. By the time I finish watching my show, the laundry is folded and I don't have to worry about it just sitting there side-eyeing me like it is right now. Anyway, I'll see y'all at the store when I get there. Bye. Alrighty, so I just finished grocery shopping. It is so nice out here. Like, the weather is perfect, but I know better than to be out here in some hoodie without like my winter coat, because the weather be switching up too fast here. So I just finished grocery shopping. I told you guys what I was making already. My last stop was Miski's. I had to get the Peruvian sauce. I just don't feel like making that sauce on my own, but honestly, when I bake the chicken in the oven and make all the sides and dip it with the sauce, it tastes better than the Miski's to me personally. Peruvian chicken is really good, but it's also like very salty and high in sodium. So at least when I make it myself, even though it's not like the traditional way, like the sauce make it taste the same for me. So that was my last stop. I'm getting ready to go home, and I'm not even gonna say clean up my car, even though it would be the perfect weather to do that. My brother was supposed to clean it out, but it's honestly just been too cold. So yeah, I'm getting ready to go home, and I got one of my favorite snacks. I told y'all I am like, first of all, we're gonna be doing a no fast food challenge next week. And that's something that I want to do moving forward, unless like I'm going out to like hang out with friends or something like that. I don't want to be eating fast food because I spend over like $250 a month in fast food, and I just think that's literally ridiculous. And I'm trying to be really conscious and pay off a lot more debt. So last year I paid off my car, and I'm super excited about that. My goal is to be 100% debt free, if y'all didn't know that. And I've been on that journey for a while. Like, I've paid off over like $35,000 in debt over the past few years, so including my car. So I'm just being really intentional about that. If you guys are interested in learning more about like my budgeting process, how I do that, let me know, because one, I could use all the accountability, and two, this is, I feel like, a great thing to just learn and know, because I want to be a good steward of all of the finances that God has given me, especially because if you don't know how to manage a little bit, you can't manage a lot. So some people be like, oh, like if I had more money, I would be able to do this. But like, if you're not managing the money that you have right now, God is not going to bless you with more. Like, you're asking to be a millionaire, but you can't manage $1,000. So I'm talking to myself. Like, girl, let's get it together. Anyway, enough rambling. I'll see you guys when I get back, and I'll show you just like my grocery haul. I got 3 meals for like $55. Now, mind you, I'm eating for myself, so it's not like a huge, I don't have to spend a lot, but that's really good in this economy, girl. Okay, this economy. But God is good regardless of the economy. Anyway, I'm done rambling. I'll see you when I get home. All right, let's do a quick grocery haul. So I got some jasmine instant grain rice. This rice is really easy to make. Got some baby Bella mushrooms, some sweet potatoes. Then I got, this is my favorite kind of flatbread. It's the Brooklyn bread thin pizza crust, and it's made with, it's naturally fermented, so it's really good for your digestion. You can get this from Wegmans, and you get 4 of them. They're so good. I tried a lot of different pizza sauces, but I really like this marinara sauce by Priano. This is from Aldi. And then I got veggies. I got whole green beans. Then I got frozen broccoli. I make these with like, just chop up some onions and put them on the stove, like no oil, no nothing, let them fry, and then put some lemon juice on them with a little bit of lemon pepper. Chef's kiss. Then I got some sausage for my flatbreads. This is beef sausage. And then the other meats, I got turkey meat. I got a big thing of turkey meat, and then I got a big thing of chicken thighs. And then this is the sauce I was talking about. This is the Peruvian sauce. This is the mild one, and then the, I guess, the hot one. And I could learn how to make these on my own, but I just like how they come in these like little small containers. I get 10 of them for $3, and then I make that with my chicken thighs, the sweet potatoes. Sometimes I'll do like a pack of frozen fried rice instead of the sweet potatoes, and then I do the string beans with the onions, and it is so good. It is very filling. It's super affordable. So yeah, I am, like I said, I'm getting back on my debt-free journey. I spent a little money, had a little good time, and now it's time to get back focused. So I'm not going to be doing like crazy elaborate meals, because I really want to start hammering out this debt. Because girl, a debt-free life just sounds so peaceful. Okay, so I'm super excited about that. Once I put these groceries away, first I need to straighten up the fridge, put the groceries away, and then we're gonna go do our weekly planning. And I need to tell y'all what's going on with this book, because this book is so good. So once I put these away, I'll be right back. Okay, so I usually don't sit here because this is where I record my videos, but the sun is too bright right now. Listen, let's get into this book, okay? This book is Loving People Who Are Hard to Love, Transforming Your World by Learning to Love Unconditionally. I knew that this is an area that I wanted to grow in. I just didn't know, and I don't even want to say it would be this difficult, but I didn't know how much I needed this book until I started reading it. So I took some notes in my mental garden. You guys know that I have a section right here called the Garden Cafe, and this is where I keep all of the notes on the books that I'm reading. I have so many notes in my phone that are just kind of all over the place in journals and stuff. So I wanted to have one place, kind of like a knowledge library, so I can go back and reference. So I'm getting ready to open up my notes here. Listen, this book is so good. I feel like I'm the type of person where I love really hard. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and sometimes, like, depending on who the person is, like, I just care a lot. And so that opens me up to getting hurt sometimes. And I'm not even talking about like relationship wise, like romantic. I'm talking about just every other type of relationship, like platonic. And I think that God has had to like heal my heart a lot of times for just my expectations of people. And really just in this world, there are going to be times where you get hurt. There's going to be times where there's potential for offense and things like that. And I know that I've been really diligent about guarding my heart against offense and unforgiveness, particularly because I know how they impact my prayer life and my heart. So when I got this book, I was just like, Lord, I just want to love people better. And we say that sometimes without realizing that God calls us to love our enemies. He calls us to bless those who curse us, right? Care for those who despitefully use us. Love holds no record of wrong. Love is patient. It's not selfish. So with that being in mind, I think we have a very skewed view of love. We typically only want to love people that are like kind to us and reciprocate the same behavior. But I know that this is an area that's growing in. But one of the things she was talking about in the book is that love is a form of spiritual warfare. So like the enemy knows that we are called to love, and love is a fruit of the spirit. So he will use people that are close to you, or, you know, whoever he feels like can get to you, to try to wound you so that you will respond in hate and bitterness and all types of things. He just wants to get your heart all locked up. So yeah, with all that being said, one of the things that really stood out to me in this book, and it's in chapter 1, she talks about how anytime we show love to another person, God is there. Like how we treat other people is a reflection of how we love the Lord. And I thought that was interesting because it says that no one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God lives in us and his love is made complete in us. So Jesus considers the way that we treat others to be the way that we treat him. And I was thinking, looking over my life, and I'm not perfect. Obviously, I'm growing in this area, but I'm like, Lord, if the way that I treat other people is the way that is a reflection of the way that I treat you, I need to do better, right? I'm not as patient when I'm out in public, right? I snap sometimes when I get frustrated. I, do sometimes I am really quick to cut people off if I get wounded. And that's not like the type of reflection of love. That's loving when it's convenient, but it's not loving when love is difficult. And so I feel like this book is like really pushing me. Just love like Christ. Allow God to love people through me. And I don't know what that is inviting into my life. I have no idea, but I know that like when people show like love to me in a time where I feel like I don't deserve it, the first thing that goes through my mind is like, wow, like that person must know God. Like this must be like, you must have been praying or something like that. And I think about over my life, those times where you really appreciate the love of God in your lowest moments, in those moments where you feel like you've given God every single reason to not love you, and he still pours his unconditional love on you. I think that's the time when we appreciate it the most. And so she was making the argument that, or maybe even the case that, if we love other people in that same way as a response to gratitude for how the Lord has loved us, this world would be such a different place. And so yeah. And then she gave her testimony, bro. Like she gave her testimony about how her father sexually and physically abused her, and her mother knew about it and just, didn't do anything. And how later in her years, God called her to care for her elderly parents, like, and care for them well, and how hard and difficult that was for her. So like God's way of loving is completely different than like our way. It's so like counterintuitive. I don't even know if that's the word. It just blows my mind. Like it blows my mind when you really think about the full concept of love. And I'm trying to look through my notes to see if what else they were saying. But another thing that I was realizing as I was reading is that loving others is not a weakness. It's a weapon that keeps me free and glorifies God. I think sometimes when I think about like my mom, for example, she's a person who literally wears her heart on her sleeve. And I always find myself like defending her from people who would try to take advantage of her. So in my mind, I felt like if I loved people who were like, harsh to me or didn't necessarily like reciprocate that love, then it made me look weak. If I forgave in times where it just seemed like people did me dirty, it made me feel weak. Like I could feel the pride rising up, trying to get me to feel like I was justified. But I know the word commands us to forgive. I know the word commands us to love. So it's like a dying to yourself. Like if you're really gonna love in the way that God calls us to love, it requires a death to self. It requires a death to you feeling like you have to be right. And it requires a death to you feeling like you have to like get people back or defend yourself. But you have to realize that like the Lord is your defender. He is a just God. He doesn't let things go and just pretend that they didn't happen, right? So I think there is more power in loving others than I thought, and I don't lose anything by loving others. So that's something that I am processing. I am allowing to really get down in my spirit. And then chapter 2, oh my gosh, chapter 2 was so good. She was talking about loving people the way they are and not the way that we want them to be. Now, as an artist, I can take a blank canvas and make something out of nothing, right? And a lot of us are created in that way. We're created in the image of God. So God can speak to something that's not there and make it so. And because we are, like I said, made in his image, we can create things that have never been seen before. We can create something out of nothing. Like that's not just a random trait. That's a characteristic of being a son and daughter of God. And so when it comes to loving people the way that they are, like really having grace and tolerance, I don't even want to say tolerance, really giving people grace. I was listening to With the Perrys, and Preston Perry was talking about how the impact of social media and his relationship with people. And he was saying that social media made him have less patience for people in his real life. And I think that that's really true. I think that we're so used to having these parameters online where we can block, we can unfollow, we can remove these people and never have to talk to them again if we're offended or hurt. But in real life, like, I suppose you could just block people and cut them off, but God is calling us to have grace for people. We are not perfect. I am not perfect, so I should be extending grace to people as they are, right? Like, we cannot change people. We can pray for God to do the work in them, but ultimately, if you haven't noticed, every time you pray for God to do something in somebody else, he's going to work on you first. And so knowing that, it really was just like a perspective shift that we need to give people grace. We don't know what people are dealing with. We don't know why people respond in the way that they do. You know, we know the term that says hurt people hurt people. So like, we've hurt other people, and we need to give grace for the healing work that God is doing in other people's lives. And I love that, again, she gave another part of her testimony about how like she was like really hard-hearted and mean when she first got married, and her husband, she said that he was a man of enormous patience, like unusual patience. And as he began to love her in this state, he loved her while God was still working on her, right? He didn't abandon her in this time of processing. But he stuck with her. He prayed and he interceded. And there was a part where she shared about how her husband would spend many nights like crying in his car because she was so difficult to deal with, but yet he didn't like abandon her. And I think that type of love directly points to Christ, where in those moments where we are so difficult, we're giving every reason for him not to love us. He continues to pursue us, and he's so patient and so kind, and like, it doesn't even seem like as humans we can offer that type of love, but like God puts examples of people who literally operate in that, and it draws us closer to him. And so it's one of like my biggest desires, is to love people better every single day. And I am not perfect. I do feel like I genuinely love people, but I know that this is an area. Loving people who are hard to love, loving your enemies, blessing those who curse you is like, help me, Lord, because we always feel like we're right. And sometimes we are. It feels like we're justified in whatever reason we feel like we're upset. But like at the end of the day, like we have to do things God's way. And so she says, enjoy the good parts of a person while waiting for God to heal the bad parts. God isn't asking us to let people abuse us, but he's asking us to not give up on them simply because they are hard to deal with. And she said, let your behavior be a sermon that people can't ignore. Listen, I'm big on that. I feel like, you know, you can know a lot of scripture, you can say a lot of things, but like some people will never step foot in a church, but they will look at your life and it will determine whether you truly serve the God that you talk about. And so I want my life to be a reflection of the God that I serve. I don't want to be on camera being all kind and jolly, and then in person behind the scenes I'm mean and irritated and snappy with people. That's not a good reflection. We have too much of that going on. So let's all commit to letting God do the work in us, because yeah. And I won't even say it's not easy. It's just a process of like dying to self and submitting. So if that's an area that you want to grow in, this book is really good. I am not going to be able to rush through it. Every time I open it up, I just want to cry because God is dealing with my heart. And I know that this book was on time. And one thing I always pray is like, Lord, as I'm reading this book, let it not just be like words on a page, but let it truly transform the area of my heart that you want to, you know, purify and mold. So yeah, that was my update on that. Let me do my planning real quick, and then I'll come back and do the weekly recap. Okay, so I apologize for the noise, but I'm getting ready to do the weekly recap. This is the portion of the video where I tell you guys the highs and lows of last week and the strategy that I'm taking into next week. Oh my gosh, the snow is so pretty, but like, it needs to go. Okay, so real quick, the highs were I was super, super productive, like despite the fatigue. That is nothing but the Lord. I'm so grateful, like sticking to my plan and just pushing through, even though I was, like I said, pretty tired. I think my diet, making sure that I'm like eating better during the week, has made me have a lot more energy. So that's a real benefit. I was able to get everything sent over in time for the brands, and just maintain the momentum when it comes to my recording schedule. What else? Yeah, and then I told you guys earlier, well, I showed you earlier that I went to the doctors and like got a lot of my questions answered. So I'm waiting for the results of my blood test to come back, and then I also just ordered a gut health test, which will show me like the state of my gut, what foods I should be eating and things like that. So I'm waiting for that to come in. So a lot of the stuff that I've been wanting to do, I'm finally doing health-wise, and that's pretty exciting. The lows for last week, I did not do my morning walk starting on Wednesday because I came on my cycle and I was just having cramps, and I just needed to maintain most of the energy that I had for, my daily tasks. Sometimes, like, during my cycle, like, even like light exercise can just be a lot, especially first thing in the morning, and I don't drink caffeine or anything, so I need all the energy that I can get throughout the week. So I'll be getting back on that next week. And then I think that's pretty much the only low. The strategy for next week is I'm sticking to my schedule. That's always the strategy, is to stick to my schedule and my routine. I'm getting back on my morning prayer walks, and then I really need to integrate my train well workouts. I have not been able to do them at all this month because this month has been so busy, and like I said, I've been really having to prioritize the energy that I have on the tasks that I need to get done. So I'm praying that I'll be able to get back on those. And yeah, what else? That's pretty much it. I'm reading this book. I'm going to take my time reading it. I'm excited to keep you guys updated on the process of that. In the next week, we're doing the no fast food challenge, which is something that I want to do moving forward. I'm not a huge fan of fast food, but sometimes, you get busy, and if, sometimes you meal prep, after a while, it all starts tasting the same. But like I said, I'm really intentional on like getting back on my debt-free journey. So that means like just cutting out unnecessary expenses. Dave Ramsey said that eating out is a luxury. And so I need to treat it like that and not something that's just so casual, because $250 a month on fast food, in addition to the already $250, $300 that I spend on groceries, is literally ridiculous. So yeah, we're cutting that down, and I'm excited. This month is going really well. I'm glad that I took the time to do like my goals, and I'm really intentional about making sure that I'm getting things done in the time that I set. Also, I need to get back to journaling. I used to do that on like a daily basis, but I haven't used my Castro Cares guided journal in a while, and that's probably why I haven't been journaling, because I've been using all of my notes. I've been taking all of my notes in my note-taking Bible, so maybe I'll whip that out next week so that I can make sure that I've been like verbally journaling with the Lord, just kind of telling him what's going on, but I haven't been writing it down. So yeah, those are some of the changes I want to make for next week, and I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me for another productive vlog, and I will talk to you next week. Yes, I'm still going to fold that laundry. It's just going to be tomorrow morning while I'm watching The Equalizer, which is actually a really good TV series with Queen Latifah. I've been enjoying it. Okay, bye.